All right, welcome to the Oregon Ducks Live on the Voice of College Football. This is the first episode with this crew. I'm Bjorn Bergstrom. Do you guys want to introduce yourself?
I'm Brady Gobler.
I'm Brendan Everly.
A little bit about ourselves. I played college football for 2 years and then transferred to University of Oregon. I write for Ducks Wire. It's through USA Today. Brody.
I'm a fourth year at University of Oregon, majoring in sports business, accounting, and economics. And I also coach football during summers at Redmond High School. I was the JV head coach this year and assistant varsity offensive coordinator. So excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm Brendan Everly. This is my technically second stint here. I spent my time playing college baseball for the last couple of years, and just excited to be back at the University of Oregon.
All right, so for this podcast, we're basically going to be reviewing the Iowa game, Oregon's last game, and then we're going to spin it forward to Minnesota, who they play on Friday, and kind of preview that with a little college football playoff sprinkled in there because that list just came out. So, Brody, if you want to kick us off with what your biggest takeaway is from Oregon's 18-16 victory over Iowa.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway for me was just like the creativity in the run game. I really haven't seen it as much in the previous games, but I feel like just knowing the conditions going into that game, knowing that just the physicality that was needed to win that game and leveraging our strengths as far as Jordan Davison and De'Aaron Hill and Noah Whittington and using that to our advantage and getting creative in the way we had different backfield actions, different sets, different personnels, and different ways to run our base run plays. I thought that was very encouraging moving forward.
Yeah, and it came against Hawkeyes rushing defense is one of the best in the nation. They're super physical, and so yeah, that was huge. That was a huge confidence boost, not only for like they'd done it all season, but in the Big Ten, like Dan Lanning said it after the game, it was like this is Big Ten football, and they really proved it right then.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the identity of the Big Ten is, run the ball, smash mouth football. But I will say it was really nice to see. It's a very similar kind of setting to the Wisconsin game a couple weeks ago. And it was really good to see that we kind of have developed our offense, especially with the run game. I will say I do wish that our offense could put it in the end zone more often. We had to kick quite a few field goals, which was good, but we racked up like over 250 rushing yards. I wish that we could have, had some more touchdowns to go with that.
Yeah, I think that was one of my biggest things I was looking for heading into that game was points were going to be at a premium, and the pressure was going to be on Atticus. And he came out, he showed out 3 for 3, I think 46, 40, and 39 game winner. Yeah. He proved himself in this game.
Yeah, really absolutely. Yeah, Lanning before the game on Ducks versus them, we saw it. He said special teams was going to make the difference in that game, and the safety, not really forced, but it was on a punt and then 3 field goals. Like that really was the difference at the end of the day. Was controlling the ball, being good on special teams, and just making it hard for them to move the ball and score points.
Mm-hmm. I think Dante. He didn't play well. It's hard to say he didn't play well before the final drive because of the wet conditions, but. Mm-hmm. He didn't have his rhythm per se. Mm-hmm. And he really, he showed up in that final drive, hitting a couple short passes and then the absolute dime to Malik Benson. I think it was just another moment of him showing his clutch gene and really that's what NFL scouts are looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. He goes out there in the cold conditions and he's still putting it on a line. And Bjorn, you play quarterback at the college level. You know how hard it is when it's cold outside, it's windy outside to actually get the ball consistently to your receivers 20 yards downfield. And there was a couple of throws he made over the middle or outside the numbers that are tough throws, even in good conditions, that, didn't happen every time, but there were still a couple before that last drive. So you still felt confident going in.
Yeah. Also, Dan mentioned – oh, no, you're good.
No, you got it.
Also, Dan was talking quite a bit about how that was Dante's first real – game-winning drive or first 2-minute drill because we really haven't seen it in any sort of clutch situation. So it was really good to see that he's able to put it together and drive down the field. That was really, really good to see.
Mm-hmm. That was kind of right before the Ducks game started, everybody was watching Indiana Penn State, and that was exactly what Mendoza did. and he's another draft eligible quarterback in 26, and he didn't have much going, especially in the second half, and then put that drive together and put the winning touchdown on there. So it's two great quarterbacks, two 2026 draft eligible quarterbacks, whether Dante goes or not, but that's what the scouts are looking for, and they both showed out.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Brody, if you want to dive more into the run game scheme wise.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I said my biggest key takeaway was the creativity in the run game. I mean, you saw it first, like the tight end and fullback inserts that they had. They had Jamari Johnson a lot of the times on these outside zones. Like, the whole flow is going this way, and they have him kick out that end man on line of scrimmage, which opens up a ton of those cutback lanes for De'Aaron Hill, for Jordan Davison, and Noah Whittington. So that seems really encouraging, because that reminds me a lot of the 2018 Rams offense with Todd Gurley, where McVay would motion Cup or Higbee or any of those guys, Robert Woods, and even motion them to kick out that end man line of scrimmage, because Todd Gurley is such a prolific outside zone runner. He could read DCB A to the backside A, and it really opens up that cutback lane a lot more. And I saw a lot of that on Saturday, as well as with inside zone. It almost turned into kind of like a makeshift power, but you could kind of see they're matching up with their inside zone, and then they pulled Jamari Johnson almost through an A gap, like you wouldn't typically, like a guard in like a typical gap scheme, but it opened up different lanes, and it creates an extra gap in the run game that the defense has to account for. And if Iowa wants to play two-eye shell, or whoever we play against would play two-eye shell, that extra gap made by the fullback, you can really take advantage of. Also, a bunch of trap plays, just like creativity in the run game, whams and traps with Jamari Johnson, as well as the guard, just creating good angles for our offensive linemen and our running backs and fullbacks and tight ends in the run game, just giving them advantageous blocks. Because especially as we move into the playoffs and we get to more of those stout offensive lines, knowing your angles and knowing which runs to check to in certain situations, that's huge. And I feel like we're finally hitting our stride with that, with our offensive line. 4 of them transfers coming in for the first time. They haven't really played together, so they don't really know what leverages each other, like what schemes. They're finally becoming more of a cohesive unit, even with Harkey out, who is the second highest graded run blocker on the offensive line. And so I just really thought that run blocking was really encouraging. And then finally, or I guess I got 2 more things, but learning, leaning into different personnel, 22 personnel, 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, 2 tight ends and a running back, and then the 2 back sets, being versatile within those personnels really gives us a lot of advantages with the defense, especially when De'Aaron Hill, he's split out to a slot a lot more than I've seen other running backs. And so it makes it hard for the defense to know exactly what we're doing. And I feel like that was the first time all year where it wasn't very predictable the entire game. So
I'd
that was
also,
very nice.
Brody, also adding to that is the wide receiving core was depleted against Iowa, and they showed, Will Stein showed that he can lean into those heavy personnels, and just once they get Evan Stewart back, De'Corian Moore back, Sadiq, it's just going to open them up that much more.
Yeah, absolutely. Sadiq's such a weapon. He's one of the best run blocking tight ends in the nation. I mean, he's a little shorter at 6'3", but he makes up for it in leverage in the run game. And Jamari Johnson has proved more than a capable blocker. So I think once we get those 2 guys back, we get Eastu and Dak Moore back, I think it's going to be a very dangerous offense. We just have to figure out who to spread the ball around to. And to go with that, utilizing play action, we are having and finding so much success in the run game now that we're being more versatile. We're finally getting together as a unit. We need to start utilizing play action a lot more. We had 4 play action dropbacks against Iowa, and we went 3 for 4 on those dropbacks. Once those pure 3-step, 5-step concepts, they did not work nearly as well, and that's some of the struggles we saw in the pass game. But just giving Dante easy windows and easy completions, I think that would be something that we need to lean more heavily on as we move forward in the season. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think Iowa's defense is great, but that's exactly the type of defenses that they'll face in the playoff. And I think this was a great test, but it's also a nice reminder that if Atticus misses one of those field goals, we're feeling a lot different about this team. And I don't think I know Coach Lanning is definitely taking that into perspective for sure with his team. Like there's still a lot to clean up. There's a lot of positives, but one kick doesn't go through the uprights or is 5 feet to the right. Like we're feeling a lot differently, and the Ducks look a lot differently.
For sure. And I think something else that can be noted is, the best teams in the country, the good teams, they find a way to win those gritty games. And I think that what Oregon did without their starting tight end, without either of their two best receivers, with their best run blocking offensive lineman, what they did was go out there and win the game. And that's really all I can ask for at this point in the season, this late in the year. So I think Dan showed that we do have faith in our guys, especially our kicker right now, which is, as an Oregon fan, that's kind of new to say. But no, I think they did a good job. But I do agree. I think, one of those missed field goals, and we are in a different situation. We're talking about how does Oregon get into the playoffs rather than, how do they maintain their spot. So I would agree.
Speaking of that, like, we've talked about the perspective if they missed or if they made it. But that's like, we know that that's not a whole representation of the entire team. That's just Atticus. That's just the kicker. Did this game overall like make you more confident in the Ducks' title chances or less confident? I'm wondering how you guys feel about that.
I mean, I feel absolutely more confident than going into this game, because I felt like every time De'Aaron Hill was in, especially against Indiana, like everyone kind of knew it was outside zone, and now we're kind of mixing it up, like different inserts, creating more gaps, like running more counter with him, like just being more versatile with our personnel and just our players, and finding more creative ways to get the ball in their hands. And I think that just like going into this game, knowing that you're going to have to win in the trenches, run the ball, and the wins can be a factor, the rains can be a factor, knowing that the more physical team is going to win, and having to get more creative in that run game. If we can continue to maintain that creativity with all of that throughout the rest of the season, as well as build on our play action game to give Dante earlier, like better windows, just get him going more early. Like I think this Oregon team looks a lot more dangerous, and I feel a lot more confident in them than I did against Wisconsin.
Yeah, I would agree. I think also something that needs to be kept in mind is I think Will Stein was almost forced to use our elite running backs, and he didn't have as many weapons, so it almost felt like it was like he had to be creative with what he had. But I almost felt like that almost benefited him, because he was able to come up with better schemes and didn't have to worry so much about who he was getting the ball to. It was more of just, you got Noah Whittington, De'Aaron Hill, and Davison. Just feed the running backs. Whereas I feel like when we have Dak Moore, and once we get Eastu back and Kenny Sadiq, I mean, I feel like we're just gonna have too many like players to try to get the ball to, and I think sometimes Will Stein can get a little clouded with his decision making when it comes to that. Like Jamari Johnson had a great game. He played phenomenal. He had, I think, 5 or 6 targets in like the first half. Like he was getting a lot of love, which is good. He deserves it. But like Sadiq, there's been multiple games where he gets 0 touches in halves, and that's just, he's projected first-round tight end. Like I feel like Will's got to find a way to get the ball to him more often. So
yeah, Stein's definitely gotten cute, and I think that was great that he didn't get cute against Iowa. Like they knew the conditions, the defense they're facing, and it's just give the ball to the 3 running backs. Moving forward, I think the college football playoff was revealed. I think we want to say our biggest takeaway about that. Oregon. So a little background. So Oregon was ranked 8th, right ahead of Notre Dame at 9, and right behind Ole Miss at 7. I think Brody has some strong thoughts about Ole Miss being ahead of them.
Not so much Ole Miss. I do think that the SEC does benefit from scheduling cupcake games in November, but I don't got to get into that. I have a little bit more of a problem with Texas Tech being ahead of Ole Miss and Oregon. I feel like they had a huge win against BYU, obviously, and they beat Utah earlier in the year. And those are 2 great wins, but the Big Ten has just proven to be a better conference overall. And I know everyone just dumps on FPI, but it is a pretty decent stat. And Oregon still has the top 3 FPI in the country, and they are facing tough teams. They're going on the road against tough opponents, and they're getting the job done. And I'm not sure if Texas Tech has it in the trenches the way that Oregon does, and has the skill players and the athletes that they do. And I think that if we end up playing them in the playoffs, that will be proven. So,
Brendan,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I mean, I think we'll talk about kind of like our front line, like our defensive line, our offensive line a little bit more when we talk about the Minnesota. But we can touch on that. But I kind of just agree with Brody with what he was saying there.
Yeah, I think it's really telling how the committee thinks of Oregon. Like it doesn't. I don't know. They took that loss to Indiana hard, but Indiana's number 2. Like I don't. It's something's not adding up to me. And how Texas Tech 9-1, Ole Miss 9-1, Oregon's 8-1, but that one game doesn't. The one extra, they'll get that. They should get that win against Minnesota. I don't know. It's very telling, and I don't know how Oregon can prove to the committee that they can move up. They have games against USC and Washington. Washington just lost to Wisconsin, which makes the USC game just super important. And maybe the committee is waiting for that. They're staging that game as Oregon's chance to move up.
I would say me and Brady have talked about it quite a bit, but with the first poll that they released, it was a very safe poll. They didn't include any group of 5 teams. Like they kind of wanted to just like almost like cover their tracks in case they make any mistakes. And I think Oregon right now is a kind of a volatile team. Like we could Oregon could be a great team this year. We could go really far, but at the same time, like I mean, even you mentioned it, like like one field goal away from being on the outside looking in. And so they just didn't want to put the risk in. But I think Oregon should realistically climb to 6 or 7 at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to your point, I think the committee know exactly what they're doing. I mean, last week they put, I think BYU was 7, Texas Tech was 8, and they're playing that week. And so it's like whoever wins that, it's definitely obviously gonna take that spot, and whoever loses is gonna drop. And so I think they're setting up because they brought USC to 17 after they beat Northwestern by 21. Northwestern's nothing special. And so bring them up 4 spots from that, I think might be a little much. I don't think USC's good. Their defense isn't great, but the committee knows what they're doing.
Yeah. And the other thing about Oregon is like they are a young team. Like they got a lot of true freshmen starting. They got a lot of like players that are playing together for the first time. Like I said earlier, 4 transfers on the offensive line. Dante, this is his first year starting. Like the receiving core is almost completely new. It's like we got some vets, but I mean Dak Moore's coming in, Benson's coming in, and they're stepping up. And so I really do believe that Oregon is like has the most potential to like continue to grow and continue to like get better each and every week. So I think the committee's setting up for that. And if Oregon wins out, they'll be, a top 6 seed. And honestly, that's probably the biggest or an advantageous position, getting a home game at Autzen, getting our feet underneath us instead of just like going cold for a month and then having to play the eventual national champions. So.
Yeah, I think definitely getting the top 6 seed because then you avoid Ohio State at 1 and Indiana at 2, assuming they finish off undefeated. But that would be they're going to play each other in the Big Ten championship, assuming they
one of those teams will fall down. Also,
yeah,
Ohio State has their guaranteed loss coming up soon against Michigan. So that could really spice things up. Or you can find a way to sneak into the Big Ten championship. But hey, if that happens, I do believe Oregon would be assuming Oregon wins out. I do believe that they would play Indiana again in the Big Ten chip, which that would be an exciting game. But
that would be.
We'll have to see.
It'd be like, I mean, playing Ohio State. They knew coming in last year, like Oregon beat them, and then it's hard to beat a team twice. So, but that's a ways in the future. So
yeah.
We want to transition to Minnesota game if you guys are good with that.
Yeah.
Or you have any other takeaways? All right. So I mean, setting the stage for Minnesota game. Oregon's coming off that physical win. Minnesota got a bye week. And it's a Friday game, so it's a short week. I'm interested. Do you guys think the Big Ten knew what they're doing with kind of screwing the Ducks, or is this just I don't know? Is this fair or not?
I mean, the Big Ten has proven that these West Coast teams just continue to get screwed. I mean, it's not just Oregon; it's UW, it's USC, it's UCLA. Like they have us come back home after a bye week or a hard game on the East Coast. They have us come all the way back here to host a game on a short week with the other team coming off a bye week, and it's the same thing. And I mean, I don't know if it holds much water with it being Minnesota, but if it was a better team, I would be a lot more worried.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, also, like, it just feels like we constantly are talking about, like, you know, Big Ten, like these West Coast teams, you know, whether it's UW, Oregon, USC, UCLA, like, feels like they're always playing in trap games after a big game. It's like, oh, you know, you have a big win, then there's a trap game. Just feels like it's constantly like that. So I agree with Brady 100% there.
That was my next question. I'll transition into that. Do you guys think this is like a trap game? Is this something that Duck fans should have to worry about?
No, we're at home. Autzen Stadium, like, we've had, I mean, I've been here for a little while, but we've had one loss to Indiana, a very good Indiana team at home in basically 4 years almost. You know, we lost to UW, 4 years ago. Like, it doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen to bad teams. Like, that UW team that we lost to was a good team. The Indiana team that we lost to is number 2 team in the country, arguably number 1. So, no, there's just no chance.
Brody,
yeah, and I do agree. I just don't know if Minnesota has the offensive firepower to keep up with it, and I'll get to it a little bit more later. But just like the way they structure their offense compared to the strengths of our defense and our team, I just don't think that they're going to be able to keep up with Oregon. I don't think they're going to be able to put points on the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let me break down their. I wrote down a list of their 5 key players. I can run through that real quick. So their quarterback's Drake Lindsay. He's a redshirt freshman, 6'5", 230. He's got a big arm. He's not very athletic. He has negative rushing yards on the season. And he got off to a fast start to the year, 7 touchdowns, 2 picks in his first 4 games. But he hasn't thrown a touchdown in almost a month. It'll be a month by the time the game kicks off. But he has talent. It's just his 10th career start, so he's just getting going. And then their best player is Darius Taylor, but he's been there 3 years, and he's been on the injury report almost every week. He's 6 foot 215. He can basically do everything out of the backfield. He can catch passes. He can run up the middle. He can beat defensive backs in the open field. But he struggles to stay on the field. But they have a replacement in Fame Ejeboy, and he's carried the ball 82 times, 384 yards, 2 touchdowns. He ran for over 100 yards in their last game, so he's a viable replacement if Taylor's not there. But it's still a big loss if Taylor's not there. And then on the outside, Lamiki Brockington, he's their top receiver. Nothing special. Still hasn't gone over 400 yards receiving through 9 games, but he's Lindsay's go-to receiver, leads the team in catches, yards, tied for the team lead in touchdowns. And then defensively, they have a standout edge, Anthony Smith. He has 8.5 sacks through 8 games. He's recorded 4 in the last 3 games, 6'6", 285. He's just a force of nature on the edge, and he has the ability to cause problems for the Ducks' tackles. And then Coy Parrish, he's a true sophomore. He was a two-way athlete entering college, but he's transitioned to the defensive side of the ball as a safety. And he's also their punt return and kick return. He's one of the most dangerous, dynamic players in the Big Ten with the ball in his hands. And he's also a ball hawk on defense. He picked off 5 passes a year ago. He's got 54 total tackles. Gopher's 3rd leading tackler. He just finds himself around the ball, makes plays with the ball in his hands. He's definitely someone to watch.
For sure.
So, Brody, I know you want to talk about the scheme, Minnesota's scheme, if you want to go into that right now.
Yeah, I mean, kind of as you mentioned a little bit, Minnesota's like pretty banged up in the secondary. So I know it's going to be, I think, high 40s and light rain in Autzen, and I think that Dante Moore has proven that he can and is capable of throwing in the rain and in the conditions. So I think that we can take advantage of that, as well as just like as far as Minnesota's offense, they're averaging 3.6 yards a carry right now, but their offense is mainly structured around the pass. And Dante Moore, not Dante Moore. Oregon has a 47% pass pass completion allowed. So
yeah,
that's number 1 in the nation.
Top pass defenses. They're allowing the fewest yards.
Yeah, they're the best pass defense in the nation, and I think that just like really leverages like what Minnesota wants to do. And also the Gophers just in general are been absolutely terrible on the road. I think it's 110-20. They've been outscored on the road.
Yeah.
Losing to teams that aren't necessarily even that good. I think they lost to Cal on the road as well. So I don't see this being a trap game, even though that PJ Fleck is a pretty phenomenal coach. And I think they'll have him ready coming out the bye week. I don't see how Minnesota can put up points against us.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Brody kind of hit on it there. Like, they're just not a great road team. I mean, our DBs they're just going to eat this weekend. They're just going to have a big game. I mean, I just have a feeling that it's just going to be good. But
yeah, I think the biggest like key to this game is like going to be see how our pass rush and Mateo and see if they're going to get going, because especially against teams like USC or Bama in the playoffs, like those teams that just are very pass heavy, like can we get pressure on the quarterback consistently? Because we have amazing DBs, young DBs that are flying around and doing their thing, but can we get consistent pressure on the quarterback when we know it's a obvious pass down? These last few weeks, especially against Indiana, even last game against Iowa, we're stunting Mateo a lot, and I just don't think that's very advantageous to his strengths as a pass rusher. Like one-on-one, I think Mateo is almost unblockable, and we're just continually stunting him, trying to get cute on the defense. And I think we just need to let him try to eat and just let their offense worry about trying to chip him or double team him and try to open up the rest of the defensive line to get pressure.
I think this is a big week for the linebackers as well. I mean, the Gophers they're relatively run heavy, but it's another physical rushing attack. Big Ten team, and Jerry Mixon really stepped up last week. He had 13 tackles. Betcher had 8, and I think Betcher had been waiting for someone alongside him, whether it was Devin Jackson or Mixon, to step up, and Jerry Mixon did that against the Hawkeyes, who ran it a lot, just repeatedly, and they need that once again.
No, Mixon has been great this year. I mean, he's been phenomenal. I mean, we saw it even against Oklahoma State at the beginning of the year. He's really turned into like someone that we can kind of rely on, because there was a lot of question marks around that second linebacker position. I mean, we got Betcher coming back, but we didn't really know what to expect. But yeah, I agree with Brody. I think the defensive line is going to have to eat. I saw a lot of Amari Washington, and he's been great all year. This last game, I felt like he missed a lot of tackles in the backfield. Very disruptive. He was in the backfield almost every play, which is what you want to see. But man, if you could have made even just 2 or 3 of those tackles, we're looking at 3rd and 13 or 2nd and 15. These deep, like almost obvious passing situations for Iowa, and that would have really helped us. But I think this weekend, like if we can see that Mateo or Tatum, they can find something to get some serious pressure. This is a really good opportunity for them.
Yeah, I think Tatum Tuioti, the QB spy on Mark Gronowski, that kind of overshadowed his play because it was almost a game-losing play. But he was awesome, off the edge, making tackles in the backfield, pressuring Gronowski, making read options hard, making those options difficult decisions.
Yeah, and I mean, like even on that play, like we rushed 3. It's like it's hard to maintain like lane integrity with the D line with only 3. And Mateo honestly didn't do him any favors. He kind of got pushed back quite a bit and ran into his line. So I mean, I just think like that D line, like Bear played fantastic, Amari's playing fantastic, Tuioti's playing good. I just think that like Mateo's gravity has been a lot, but I think we just need to let him be him at a certain point, let him get after the quarterback and let him get these one-on-ones where he's not stunting every obvious pass down. Like let him do what he's going to get paid to do in the NFL.
What do you guys think about that? Going back to the Iowa game real quick, what do you guys think about that play call with the spy? Like,
I'm going to be honest with you. When I was watching it, I mean, you just knew what they were going to run. Like it had worked a couple times before against us where they picked up, 8+ yards. I mean, I saw it coming up and I'm like, what are we doing? If Tatum was not particularly fast, I don't think we should have Betcher there either. But I mean, I think what they could have done is they could have, almost like a dime personnel and put like, I mean, if you put Thyman back there one-on-one, Thyman is making that tackle 100% of the time. Like I would bet money on that every single time. Like it doesn't matter. Thyman's making an open field tackle one-on-one with 2 yards of separation from the end zone, and the game's over right then and there. But I will say I'm glad they kind of scored. I wanted to see Dante in the 2-minute drill, and man, was he was impressive. He was really impressive.
Yeah.
So
I think for me, in the Minnesota game, like one of the keys is really getting that pass game going, like the full game. We've seen spurts of it, but three of the past 4 games, it's kind of been. It was Indiana. He threw 2 picks in the fourth quarter. Wisconsin, he got knocked out, but he had 85 yards at half, I'm pretty sure. And then this one was rough. He had 65 yards before that final drive. I want to see Stein not get too cute, but and then more just take what's in front of him, take the easy completions, put together a complete game, and have us be confident, like with him and the whole passing attack heading into USC.
Yeah, and absolutely, Bjorn. I think like one of the things that will help Dante and will help our passing attack is the play action game. Like I think it's absolutely a crime that we were absolutely running the ball that well against Iowa, and we only had 4 play actions the entire game. We had 21 dropbacks, and you have 4 play actions. Like it almost needs to be like the Detroit Lions style offense where you're running the ball, and then you just give these easy like windows and bigger windows for Dante or Goff, like in this example, like to hit their playmakers in space, like get, Laporta, Amon-Ra, JMO the ball in space and let them see work. Get Dak Moore and Sadiq the ball. They're both going to be future first round, top round, second round picks, and you just got to not get cute, find a way to get them involved in the pass game, and just let Dante make those easy and good decisions.
Yeah, I think another part of.
I know you're good.
Appreciate it. I think another part of Stein not getting cute is finding threading the needle of how many carries each running back gets. And I think it was perfect against Iowa. It was Noah Whittington as the bell cow, and then Dier gets those off tackle with Davison as the lead blocker, and then Davison gets those short yardage, but he can also get those power plays. And yeah, I think that was a great game plan to follow moving forward. Obviously, might not run the ball 35, 40 times every game, but I think the scale of that is it worked, and it should work going forward.
Yeah, I think like one of my favorite things I've seen the Ducks offense run this season is like you have the 5 linemen, and then you have your wing, whether it's Jamari or Sadiq, and then you have Davidson and Dier Hill split back. And depending on what the defense gives you, you can check to a gap scheme with Davidson, or you can run a zone scheme with Dier Hill, because they both like run those concepts very well. And just depending on what the defense gives you and the leverages of your blockers, like I think as we continue throughout the season, like that's something Bo Nix excelled in a lot when he was on Oregon. It's like checking to the correct run. I think as Dante progresses and gets more starts and starts seeing more fronts and more looks, like I think that's going to be a very good look for us going forward.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, going over to this comment that we have here, thinking if Dante's coming back, and do we want him back? First of all, there's a lot of buzz about him actually coming back. There's quite a few sources saying that he's a lot interested in coming back, and I mean it's gonna be difficult for him just because he's a projected top 5 pick right now. Who knows if that's what it will end up being? It's kind of hard to turn down that guaranteed contract, but I think if he does come back, that will really guarantee him potentially the number 1 overall pick. Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, he's going to be going out with Jeremiah Smith and some other pretty good players. But that's an interesting topic. I mean, I don't know if I have an answer for that, but I will say, do we want him back? Absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that if he were to come back, I mean, man, this offense would be scary with a second-year Dak Moore, second-year Dier Hill, second-year Davison. I mean, Sadiq would be gone, but we still have Jamari Johnson. I mean, we got Vander Plug. Some of these young guys really step up. I mean, Dan does a phenomenal job in the portal, which we'll touch on in some of our future podcasts. But yeah, Dante back would be a serious step in the right direction for us to be competing not just for the Big Ten championship, but for the national championship, just like period.
Landing would never say it, but I mean, I think this team it's a 2-year window, especially if it hinges on Dante coming back, because all these true freshmen, they'll be sophomores, and Dante he'll be entering his 30th start and on from there. And Yeah, so I think this is a 2-year plan, and they would never say it, they'll never admit it, but next year's the year, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree.
I think one of the biggest things with like Dante getting more experience, like if he were to come back, like I think that'd be very like advantageous for his career going forward, because we've seen him struggle with some of these like simulated pressure looks and just like some of these like more exotic like blitzes and the straight drop back, and like years past, like Dylan Gabriel and Bo Nix, like they were the one that set the protection and like recognized those looks pre-snap. But now we're kind of, it seems like we're relying on Poncho a little bit more. So if Dante can step up and help like fully understand the offense and what we're trying to do and his hot reads, and like he will level up as a passer and as a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the guys in the NFL who get drafted high with like less than 15 starts under their belt. Anthony Richardson, Trey Lance. There's a track record of it just doesn't work out, and you need the experience. You need 30, 20, I'd say 25 plus starts is what you should aim for, and that's Dante won't have that until if he comes back next year, he will. So I think that's what he needs.
Yeah. I mean, also, even adding to that, like, I mean, we have a history of Oregon having, really experienced quarterbacks that have been here for a long time between Dylan Gabriel and Bo Nix the last couple of years. And, I mean, they both went, like, pretty high in the draft, like, respectively for what we expected. I mean, I know that I expected Bo to be a fringe first-round guy, and he was a top 15 pick. And then with Dylan Gabriel, I mean, he was taken in the third round, and he's been starting this year. He hasn't looked terrible either. So I think – a lot of these scouts really value that experience a lot more than people realize, a lot more than just, the pure arm talent and the pure ability. But yeah,
I think Stein's gotten a lot of hate, and we're wondering if like he's able to develop a quarterback or whatever, because we've gotten these transfer portal guys. But I think it's really telling just how prepared Dylan and Bo were to go into the NFL. And their front recognition and just like knowing what to check to. Like I think like their maturity in their mind has really really catapulted them forward and gotten the draft a lot higher than they would have otherwise.
Yeah, it's pretty clear that NFL personnel thinks very highly of this Oregon program. I mean, 10 Ducks were selected last year, and last 2 quarterbacks have gone higher than expected than what the consensus was. So yeah, do you guys have any other thoughts on the Minnesota game?
No. I think we can go back to what we were talking about.
Well, I mean, I think I got one more question. Just in general, the Minnesota game is like, how are our injuries going to be impacted on a short week? Like we talked about, Eastu, like possibly maybe have had come back if it was a Saturday game. Like Sadiq was obviously out last week. We don't know the severity of Dak Moore's injury. Dan obviously runs a very tight ship. And then Harkey, like, not been great in the past game, but second highest graded run blocker offensive line. And obviously Pregon stepped up, and Poncho, like, that's probably the best guard center combo in the nation as far as like run blocking and especially pass blocking for Pregon. Like I think that was very good to see. But like, how are we going to deal with those injuries like on a short week, and is that going to impact the game overall?
Are you asking us that question?
Yeah. Like, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I can go first, Bjorn. I mean, I think this, just like watching even the spring game last year, because I was here. I mean, this team is just so unbelievably talented. Like we have so much depth and talent that, yes, losing those guys hurts. I think it hurts the most in the receiver room. I think our receiving room really could use some work. But if we have, if McClellan can step up. Jamar Johnson did step up last week. He did a great job. I mean, we lost Gary Bryant again, another veteran receiver that we lost. So, we have Justice Lowe, and I mean, I was seeing even our, just
Cooper
even more
Perry
young guys. Yeah. Cooper Perry had some receptions. I think if the young guys, it's good that they get some play. And I think against Minnesota is a good opportunity for them, because it's not like, it's not playing against USC or any of these other big teams. I don't think it'll impact us too much, but especially with our offensive line. I mean, I feel like we are super talented there. We have a lot of depth. We really do.
I'd echo the depth across the offense, especially. And I think, I mean, it's impossible for us to know exactly what the scope of those injuries are and if they're playing and if they're in the game plan. But I mean, if they're not in the game plan, and even if they are, like I said, we need to run the ball. The Ducks need to run the ball. They need to pound the rock. Stein can't get cute. Injury, like Brody, you talked about it, like having the weapons back, he got cute. And with Davison and like all the backs are healthy except Lamar, he just needs to give the ball to them and let them get the game. And Dante will make his plays. Dante he'll throw receivers open like that. He's shown that he can do that. And so I think you don't get too cute.
For sure.
Yeah. Another thing, I mean, not to keep beating the Iowa train, but I think Dante like did show a lot of maturity on the 2-minute drill. Like he just took what the defense like gave him. They ran a lot of 2-eye shells during that last drive, and they couldn't necessarily play prevent because they knew they could only give up a field goal. But he really like picked on that mic, and he understood like the weaknesses that defense had during that 2-minute drill. He took those slants. He took that pick route. There was 2 blown coverages that probably would have led to touchdowns that he could have capitalized on if he read the whole field. But he took what the defense gave him, and he got it done. So I think he continues to build, and just this whole team continues to build. Like this team's going to be scary moving forward.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, if you guys want to move into our betting corner.
Before that, I think we should actually answer this. I think we should address this question here, because it actually is a good point. Like we do have a little bit of, we are having a short week against Minnesota, but I think I'd rather have a short week against Minnesota to give us that extra day of rest and prep for the USC game. Because with UW losing, that's a really, this makes this USC game have even more gratitude, or like more like it's more impactful. It's more impactful on our season. It means a lot more. So I think having that extra day of, I mean, prep, you can call it prep, but I think really it's just rest, At that point, having that extra day, there's a good chance that Eastu comes back. Good chance. I mean, there's a comment here talking about Dak Moore being back for the Minnesota game. Maybe we'll see. But depending on the severity of his injury, there's a good chance that he's back for USC. If we have Dak Moore and Evan Stewart back for USC, I think USC is going to be in for some trouble, especially offensively. And having that extra day of rest, I think it will really actually benefit us.
You have to take care of business.
For sure.
You can't lose. Can't overlook them. They have more rest. They have more prep. They have to come out firing.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that Lanning, almost more than any other coach in the country, like he gets his boys ready. Like every time you watch Ducks versus them, like you can really see the culture that he's been building this last like few years. Like it's not based on like you guys have to do it. It's a consistent message each and every week that keeps it fresh. That guys can hang their hat on. Like if things get tough, like you can hang your hat on like 1,000 cuts or be the warrior or whatever it may be for the week. Like they really buy into that stuff, and it really speaks volumes of the program he's building here.
Mm-hmm. Anything else, or should we get into our betting corner? All right. So breaking down the lines is by FanDuel. Oregon is a 25.5 point favorite over Minnesota. It started out low 20s, and it's grown each day. The over-under is 44.5. Oregon is a minus 7,000 favorite. Minnesota plus 2,000. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Is there anything that sticks out right there?
I mean, it's what we're minus 2,000 favorites, you said?
Yeah, minus 7,000.
Yeah, minus 7,000. I mean, that kind of just shows that we think that we're going to win this game, which I think we do. I mean, obviously they might know a little bit more than us about our injury situation, but I think that's that's kind of a free lock. But minus 7,000 odds are not great. I mean, it's been a lot of money to win just a little bit.
Yeah, I think my prop bet was the Minnesota team over under, which is right around 10.5 points. I think if you get a line at 10.5 points for their team total, I don't think that they're going to be able to move the ball effectively running it, and they're definitely not going to be able to move the ball effectively.
You're saying take the under?
So I would take the under for the Minnesota team total if you can find it.
Let me explain that real quick. So each week we're going to be offering our not just those basic the spread over under. We'll go into deeper bets and find like a whether it's a prop bet or a quarter bet, like half bet, full game. and we'll keep a running record of what we pick. So, Brendan, if you want to share yours.
Oh, yeah, I was just looking through it, and I saw Jordan Davison at 51.5 rushing yards, and I mean, I'm taking the over there. Like, I think that might be the freest bet I've seen in a long time. I mean, it's minus, what was it, like minus 115, minus 114. I mean, Jordan Davison has been not necessarily our bell cow, but he's been kind of the guy that we rely on. And realistically, he's going to get probably 10 plus touches this game. And all he has to do is, rip one of those runs. But I mean, I really do think that our offensive line is just so much bigger and stronger than their defensive front. I think that's what really separates Oregon from a lot of these, lower tier Big Ten teams. And I would put Minnesota in one of those lower teams. I would put them in the lower tier of the Big Ten. I think we're just going to have a field day rushing wise. And if we're up by a decent amount of points, like Brady predicts, there's a good chance that he's going to get more than 51.5 rushing yards.
That's true. The bet that I would go with is the second quarter spread. It's Oregon minus 7.5. I would take Oregon's side of that. I think we haven't seen them get out of the gates fast recently, but once the quarter changes, once the second quarter hits, that's when they turned on. I think that'll happen. One touchdown is right there, and then you get just 2 scores, then that's cash. And it's plus 100, so you're getting plus money with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like that as well because, it depends. We're at home, so we might take the ball first. But realistically, if we take the ball first, and which I kind of expect us to, just that Dan loves to do that. He loves to, receive in the first half. Then at that point, we will be pushing to try to get some more points right before halftime because they'll be getting the ball to start the second half. So I actually really like that.
That's true, and I don't trust Minnesota's 2-minute offense. I think even if they get the chance, they could go 3 and out, and it goes right back to the Ducks, and they try.
Yeah.
So
Dan's an aggressive player, an aggressive coach. I think that he'll put the gas on.
Yeah. I think it's more likely that Oregon gets close to the spread, the overall spread, the minus 25.5 earlier in the first half than in the second half. I think it might be more, wishy-washy in the second half.
Yeah. All right. Do you guys have anything else you want to bring up ahead of Minnesota game?
No. Are there any questions from the chat or anybody that has anything for us to address?
Mm-hmm. I think I have a quick question for you guys.
Sure.
Out of the USC or Washington game, which one do you think is tougher? The Washington game's on the road in Seattle. Last game of the season, there are huge implications for it, but there's also huge implications for the USC one. But it is at home in Autzen. So what do you guys think about that?
Bird, do you want to go first?
Yeah, USC obviously has 2 stud receivers, and they've always had a prolific passing attack under Lincoln Riley. So I think that they don't really have as a consistent a run game as the other Big Ten teams that we faced so far. So, we've said it already. We're the number 1 pass defense team in the nation right now. So I think we will do good. And running in Autzen is even tougher because you can't check to what you want to. You can't really communicate as well on the line. So I think that if they fall right into our hands and trying to pass the ball, I think we'll be successful, and it's going to be tough to win in Autzen. So I'm a little bit more worried about the UW game. It's a rivalry game. They got talent at quarterback position, running back position. I'm not necessarily as worried as I was against Iowa with those 2 teams, but I still think UW is the slightly harder team.
I would say I would agree. They're both rivalry games for Oregon. I actually do think that USC might be a little bit more of a difficult game. I remember a few years ago we played against Caleb Williams at USC, and he was great, but he didn't have a great receiving core. And USC's QB, Maeva or something, it's something like that.
Jaden Maeva.
Yeah, Jaden Maeva. He's a great QB. He's one of the better QBs in college football, and like Brady said, they have 2 of the best receivers in the country. And we have great DBs, but our secondary room is quite young. Brandon Finney and Iffy. It'll be really interesting to see how they can handle themselves against 2 future top 3 round draft pick receivers, potentially 2 future first round receivers. Which as a true freshman, that's or I guess as freshmen and redshirt freshmen. Like that's a big time test. With UW, I mean, UW's all right, but they just lost to Wisconsin. I get it; it's a rivalry game, but they still have Jonah Coleman at running back, who has a total of 3 yards against us a couple of years ago, and that was before we had Amari Washington and Tatum, and I guess we had them, but Amari Washington's gonna have a big game. I can that UW offensive line is not the same. It's not like what it used to be a few years ago, and
I think also as the season progresses, Bear Alexander has been more and more impressive each and every game, and so I think he is going to have a big impact on both those games as well.
Yeah. Also Gray. Gray's been a phenomenal interior defensive run guy. Like he's been great.
Yeah, I think sorry, I was going to say the only question I have moving forward is can our linebackers play to the rest of the level of our defense? Because I think we have an elite defensive line, we have an elite secondary. The only real question mark has been Betcher and Mixon, and Mixon's been stepping up, but I mean he's still young, and Betcher gets. I just want to see a little bit more out of him.
I think Betcher has a very, very high floor, but he doesn't have the highest of ceilings because of his physical profile, and
that's a great way to put it.
But to answer to go back and answer my the question that I posed, I think it's Washington. I think USC is a similar team to Oregon. They're obviously not as physical on the ground, but they have a great passing attack. But the Ducks, they match up well with that. I think the rosters are pretty similar. The Ducks is just better, and it's a home game. Autzon's going to be rocking. It'll be the last home game, barring a home playoff game, which it could hinge on that. And then going to UW's never easy. Damon Williams Jr., their quarterback, he got pummeled by the Ducks last year. But he's a lot better. That was his, I think, third start. And now he's a true sophomore. He's started this whole season. I think he's going to be a Heisman candidate in the next couple of years. He's that good. He's small, but he's fast. He can throw the ball. I think that poses the biggest challenge just because it's on the road. And there's a lot of pressure. The last game of the year. Washington's going to be hyped. Rivalry game, all that.
I don't know. The way I see it is UW did just lose to a team whose QB actually was second in passing yards for the team. The punter had the most passing yards in the game. So
4 different guys threw a pass. Yeah,
Oregon can't handle that team. Come on. I'm sorry. That's just. I mean, I've seen a lot of media talk about how that's the most embarrassing loss that a ranked team has had in forever. Which is just, I love to see that. You just love to see it.
Yeah, I think it also could ignite them though. I mean it drops they had to enter. They had 2 losses, so they entered with playoff hopes if they finish their schedule undefeated. Losing it takes away some purpose, but I mean they got a couple games to regroup, and the thing that they want most is to beat Oregon, and that's still left on their plate. So.
I mean, I guess. I think that's the most important thing for them is, at this point, beating Oregon. I mean, they've already basically secured a bowl game. So, in that regard, I agree. But Jed Fish already seems to have one foot out the door. There's a lot of buzz around him leaving after this year, which, makes sense. It's University of Washington. It's, it's a stepping stone university when it comes to your head coach, It's not like the University of Oregon. But, we'll see. We'll see how much commitment he has. I mean, I think if we remember a few years ago when we had Mario, we were still playoff hopefuls, and Mario was kind of one foot out the door, and it just went downhill quick. Whereas I think USC, they got Lincoln Riley locked up to a long-term deal. I mean, that in itself is an interesting contract. But Lincoln Riley has a lot more to play for, and those guys have a lot more to play for. Their season's on the line. Coming into Autzen Stadium, I really think that they're going to have more of a chip on the shoulder than the UW, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Only time will tell.
All right. If you guys are good, we'll wrap this up. Thank you everybody for watching and listening. This is our first episode, hopefully of many. Our schedule will be Sunday mornings, 11 a.m. Pacific time, and Tuesday nights, probably 5:30. I think we've settled on that. Yeah. The post game one Sunday will be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. This one will be just about an hour, reviewing the last game a little bit more, and then looking forward to the next opponent, and we'll also include some recruiting angles and what's going on with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you guys for being a part of the show in the first episode.
Yeah. Also, if you guys ever have any more questions, you guys more than welcome to ask them in the chat. We'll discuss it. Whether it's recruiting, transfer portal stuff. I think we'll be still going in the off season. We'll see, but yeah, let us know.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter, Instagram. This is all right. Well, this is our first show, Voice of College Football, Oregon Ducks Live. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.